Hey guys, I'm Brianna. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing my March wrap-up, and I read some really great books this month, and I'm very proud of that. But to start with my current reads, I'm reading Corrupt by Penelope Douglas, and I've been recommended this book so many times, and I don't know why I haven't picked it up. I think I was just a little hesitant because I have read Penelope Douglas before, and I just didn't really like it that much, but I'm loving Corrupt so far. I don't know what I'm gonna rate it, but it's interesting. And I'm also finishing up Ash Princess. That I should have my review up sometime within the first 2 weeks of April, hopefully. But yeah, so first I'm gonna start off with my ebooks. So I read the first 5 books in the hashtag nerd series, the player series, I don't know what it's called. But it's called, the first book's hashtag nerd, the second book's hashtag hater, the third book hashtag player, the fourth book hashtag selfie, and the fifth book hashtag poser. And they're all by Cambria Hebert. I think that's how you pronounce her name. And I gave the first 3 4s out of 5s, and the last 2 5 out of 5. And they're like a football college romance. Then I read King, Tyrant, and Lawless by T.M. Frazier. Guys, I don't know why I haven't read them before. They're so good. If you guys like dark romances, if you like Tilly Cole, if you like Aaron Watt, read these books. So freaking good. I love them so much, and I'm like restricting myself from buying them on Kindle because they are kind of expensive. So I'm waiting patiently, and I'm gonna buy them in paperback because I love them so much. So good. They're kind of a motorcycle romance, not really, but it's mainly a darker romance. It's just so different, and I really love the writing. Like, it's just amazing. The plot line takes my breath away. The first 2 books follow King. I gave those 5 out of 5s, but the second book I gave a 4.5 out of 5 just because, like, I wasn't really in love with how Bear was portrayed, but it still gave it 4.5. And yeah, now on to the physical copies. So we have Cavanaugh Cold Case by Maria Farella. Don't know how to say her name, super sorry. This is a medical examiner detective romance, and if you guys don't know, I want to be an ME. That's like my dream job, so of course I had to read this book. And I gave it a 3.5. Kind of disappointed me. I felt like it was good in some aspects, but I needed more like medical examiner, autopsy, crime scene stuff. I felt like the romance was really good, and I definitely understand why these books are like that. So the romance was good. I just felt like scientifically it wasn't, not that it was accurate, I just felt like it was lacking in that perspective. So it was okay. Then I read Without Consent by Catherine Fox, which is another medical examiner book. This one is it's not a romance at all. It's just like forensically a book, but I gave this a 3 out of 5, and my reason with this is, well, first it's a second book in a series, so whoops, I read it out of order, but I'm definitely not going to continue on. I just didn't like it. She is part of the sexual assault unit, so, but like that's her side job, and then she went into private practice, so I just didn't feel like grasped by the book. It didn't really have a lot of autopsies or anything in it. It was really focused on the sexual assault side, and I was like, okay, that's cool. The crime scene stuff was cool, and I liked seeing the lab work, but I just felt like her job was lacking in this, and it was more about her checking the work of other people and cold cases, not really about her actually doing work, so it just wasn't that good of a book. Then I read Dangerous Games by Tess Diamond. This is, I think it is her debut novel, and I read another Tess Diamond book last month or 2 months ago. I forgot what it was called off the top of my head, but this is kind of a thriller, a little bit of a romance, not too much, but she's a hostage negotiator, and I really enjoyed this book. I didn't guess, I gave this a 4 out of 5. Yeah, I don't know if I said that already, but I really did enjoy this book. I liked her character. She's very spunky, and the guy that she ends up like getting with, he's actually really interesting, and I was very, it was, I don't know, it was just interesting. That's my word of the day, interesting, guys. But I just really like this book. There's a lot of like undertones of how the government agencies don't really like each other, and they don't, and I guess they like, I don't know, there's corruption in it, so there's a lot with the CIA. I just really liked this book. It just dealt with a lot of like stuff that people don't really get if you're not on that side of the law. And then I read Daughter of the Pirate King and Daughter of the Siren Queen. So I reread Daughter of the Pirate King, which I read last July or August. I gave these both 5 out of 5. These are phenomenal. And the second book is so, like, it's not even so much better. It's just even better than the first book. You get to explore more of the pirate side of things. You get to see the siren side of things. And I don't want to go too much into depth because it is kind of spoilery. Whoops, I don't know how to say that. But I just love these 2 books. They were so good, and I think it's just going to be a duology. I don't think she's continuing on. I did think it ended perfectly. It didn't leave, like, it left everything closed. It was a closed ending, so nothing was left open. You weren't left, like, with a cliffhanger. I really did enjoy these books. There was just so much just drama, seeing the pirates, seeing the sirens, seeing the island, seeing the water. It just, everything just came together so well, and this book just reads like just phenomenally. I just really, really enjoyed these 2 books. Then I reread It Ain't Me Babe by Tilly Cole. I was planning to reread like books 1 through 5, but I just didn't do that this month. I just read book 1, and I kind of read this in like a day, and I have no shame. This is like 500 pages. Again, 5 out of 5. Really, really enjoyed this book. Love this book. If you really like dark romances or motorcycle romances, definitely pick this up. It is very dark. Honestly, I would say this book is darker than the King series just because this deals with a lot more sensitive topics than King does, even though King is kind of like bordering on that line. But yeah, I'm hopefully gonna reread the rest of them so I can read book 6 because I haven't read that yet. Then I read Kian, I think how you pronounce it, by Tijan. I thought her name was Tijan, and then Jess from Peace Love Books just did her video, and she was like, no, it's not Tijan, it's Tijan. I've been pronouncing it wrong, so I'm like, great, I've been pronouncing it wrong too. But I read this book, didn't really know what to expect because I don't really read a lot of, I guess, billionaire books. Totally did not expect what this book was about. This was really good. I gave it a 4.5, and the only reason why I didn't give it a 5 was because the beginning was very confusing. They kind of just threw you into the book, and you're kind of like, whoa, what's happening? Like, who's this character? Who's this character? Like, you're kind of like, what? What's happening? And the ending, I didn't really like the ending. It just was like, I guess, too wrapped up for me, and it was kind of disappointing. I was expecting so much more after having like this huge plot thrown into you, but this was so good. This is about a girl who, excuse me, this girl, her, something happens, and someone that her, I don't want to like give anything away. So basically he kills someone that she's close with, and he goes to prison for it, and everyone hates her, so she kind of goes into hiding, and it's like a couple years later when he's released for good behavior, or no, for the judge messing up the case, and they don't know if he's gonna come after her and hurt her. Like, you don't really know anything, but this book, just so good. So good. I read this on a driving down to a college visit, and just, I love it. I need to read more of Tijan's books because I have read Fallen Crest High, and I absolutely love that book. I think I read it back in like 2014 or something, but I need to continue on and read it more. Definitely recommend this book, guys, if you want something like fast-paced and kind of like thrilling, kind of like that book. Then I reread the whole Dark Element series, And sorry for the second book. I got it at my library because I actually don't own the second book. Unfortunately, I only own the first and the third one, and I have the second one on Kindle. But the first one is White Hot Kiss, the second one is Stone Cold Touch, and the third one is Every Last Breath. They're technically YA, but they read like the Paper Princess series. They're by Jennifer Armentrout. I gave them all 5 out of 5. They are kind of like a paranormal, I mean, they're kind of, I don't consider them romance books, even though there is a romance in them, because it doesn't focus solely on that. They're kind of more like the typical YA finding yourself, but there's just so much drama in these books, and after rereading them, I forgot how much what happened, and I just love these books to death. And of course, Roth, love you, Roth, love you. But yeah, this follows Roth and Layla is half gargoyle, half demon, and she can see people's souls, and she's kind of like a succubus, so she can, if she gets close enough to kiss them, that's why it's called White Hot Kiss, she can suck their souls out. But obviously the gargoyles are like, you ain't doing that, honey. So yeah, but I really like these books, and if you want something different, this is definitely different. Don't pass them up because of the covers, guys. Then I read Offsetting Penalties by Allie Matthews. I think that's her name. I wasn't expecting it to be that short, and I did end up giving it a 3.5 out of 5. It was just okay. I was expecting a lot more, but I think this was just like the typical type of book. It was very short, and I think that's a part of the reason why. I tend to prefer like fully developed books more than short, quick, sweet to the point books, if you get my drift. So I thought it was okay. I did like the differences between the characters, and I guess like they both had their struggles, so I thought that was a good plot point. But I would definitely pick it up again in the summer if I'm in the mood for a light read. And then last but not least, actually that's a lie. Okay, I also read Kite Runner. I forgot the author's name, but that's like, I guess, a classic novel. I finished reading it in my AP Lit class, and I really did enjoy it. I'm probably gonna give it, if I had to think, like a 3.5 stars. It was good. The beginning was okay. I felt like the action takes off like when you're between 50 and 75% of the book. The ending I just wasn't really a fan of. Like, I know they're trying to wrap it up and, oh yay, happy ending and all that stuff. I felt like I needed more because of all the action, but it takes place primarily in Afghanistan and then America, but it follows a boy who is in Afghanistan and his life and everything, and it's kind of like a coming of age story. I thought overall it was okay. It wasn't the greatest. I think I liked Macbeth better than Kite Runner, so yeah. And then finally, I reread the whole entire Royal series. Yeah, guys, I read a lot this month. Woo. But the first book is Paper Princess. The second book is Broken Prince. The third book is Twisted Palace. And the fourth book is Fallen Air. And the fifth book I don't have a physical copy of, and I just bought it on Kindle because I couldn't wait to read it, is Cracked Kingdom. I gave them all 5 out of 5s. Love these books so much. If you're in the mood for, like, I guess romance, but drama romance, then definitely read these. They are technically YA, but they read like new adults. I just love Erin Watt. There's such a great combination of authors. They are 2 authors. It's Jen Fredericks and Elle Kennedy, and I love them both. I've read both their individual books, but these books are so good. I really, really enjoy them. They're very, like, not really light reads, but, like, they're fast reads, so they're very fast-paced. But, yeah, so that's all I read this month. I did read kind of a lot, but not as much as last month. I do have a lot of library books out, so I may be bringing up a library book haul. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I really want some recommendations from you guys for what you think I should be reading, so leave them down in the comments below, and let me know your favorite book that you read this month. And if you like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys!